Behold, a universe of freshly buffed weapons, and you want to know how to build them. Today, we're going to evaluate all of those stats and create a bunch of builds really fast. Take a gander at the link in the description to the forum post, or don't. Long story short, they added a ton of crit stats and status chance to everything because that's what makes weapons good. So you want to brew up a build for the Telos Boltor, or the Prisma Gorgon, or the Coal Star, or the Burstin Prime, or the Sancti Castanas, or whatever jank tier buffed weapon. This build. This is the build. The obvious hybrid build. The one build.
To rule them all.
Base damage, multi-shot, elemental combo that's usually corrosive but sometimes viral or gas or whatever, crit chance, crit damage, more multi-shot because it gives you more of everything, and then just add a utility mod. Some weapons have a very obvious augment or pseudo-augment for this slot, and behold, it is exactly the same thing on secondaries. May have overformatted this one a little bit, don't hassle me about it, because it does crazy damage. Curses, there comes the hotfix.
They know. They know.
Well, right. Of course they know. That's why we got these changes. Several weeks before these hybrid changes were announced, I just so happened to make an entire video discussing why hybrid builds reign over all others. You can check out my video on the one build
to rule them all
in the description of this video if you so desire. Now for many weapons, like the Sancti Castanas, which got their base damage virtually tripled alongside those supplemental stats, it's obvious that they got more powerful. But it may not be immediately obvious why the one build
to rule them all
is so powerful. Perhaps it would be easier to understand if we pretended that a weapon did not have critical scaling or status. What would you build on such a weapon? What mods would you use to make it more powerful? Let us pretend, shall we? We can still use base damage, and we can still use multi-shot. But after that, if our status is really that bad, and we don't have the fire rate to save it, and we don't have any critical stats, we have no choice but to put on flat 90% elementals. Ho ho, so far not very far from the one build
to rule them all.
Are we? But it gets worse from here. For the remaining 3 slots, we have to pile on additional element after element. The reason this is so bad is that unlike in a hybrid build, each additional mod does not make our previous mods more powerful. If we add Infected Clip, it says it adds 90% toxin damage, and you can see that our damage does indeed increase by 90%. Adding Stormbringer to create Corrosive does not increase our overall damage by 90%, it just increases our elemental damage by 90%. Since we already have an elemental mod that is being multiplied by multi-shot and base damage, adding another one only adds to that previously multiplied value. This is okay the first time, because as a combined element, Corrosive has a very strong damage bonus and status effect, but after that, when we add additional elements, we are getting far less than 90% DPS increase. Weapons without supplemental stats are forced to add mod after mod that do not multiply the bonuses of the other mods on the weapon. But hybrid builds have no such problem, able to fill the space with unique multipliers all the way to the 6th or 7th mod, and multi-shot is not a bad thing to overstack. Now, of course, there are exceptions. Not all powerful builds use hybrid stats. Some weapons, like shotguns, want to reach 100% status before multi-shot, which forces every pellet to proc a status effect and can lead to massive armor stripping or slash procking. And there are other exceptions and powerful builds to discover. As of this update, there are many new powerful weapons, and you must go seek them out and bestow upon them the one build
to rule them all,
or another such creation. Let me know in the comments of this video which builds you are the most excited about, which weapon buffs make you tingle with glee. Thank you all very much for watching. Subscribe if you had a good time, and check me out elsewhere on the internet in the description. I'll see you all next time.